Now at 9, after last week's devastating nursing home fire, surrounding communities rally to welcome the displaced residents. See where they are now. Plus, advice on how to handle some home insurance during severe weather season.
One Joplin business owner worries that global issues may impact her local store. I'm Samantha Walker, and I'll have that story coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Displaced residents of a destroyed nursing home in Yates Center find shelter in other facilities. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. The entire Southeast Kansas community comes together to support the tenants of the Yates Center Health and Rehab. As KOAM's Melissa Alexis reports, many of them have found homes in other facilities throughout Southeast Kansas.
A Yates Center nursing home was lost in a fire. Now the residents from the Yates Center facility have been moved to other locations, and they've received an outpouring of support from the community.
It's tough. It's very heartbreaking for them.
After a fire that took place at Yates Center Health and Rehab on March 14th, Whitney McLeod, the administrator at Pittsburgh Health and Rehabilitation Center, says many of the residents from the Yates Center nursing home have lost everything.
Tough. A lot of them have said that they lost everything as far as pictures and, their little knickknacks and clothes. Extremely grateful that we have this opportunity as well, that we can help out our sister facility. We all came together as a team. That's what we are, as one big family under Mission Health.
Pittsburgh Health and Rehabilitation Center received 7 of the 38 residents from the Yates Center nursing home. McLeod says she's happy to see how the Pittsburgh community has come together to donate and support those that lost so much in the fire.
After receiving the residents Friday night late, our entire lobby was just full of clothing and furniture and shoes and all kinds of things, toiletries. Our community has just been so incredible.
She says the Pittsburgh Health and Rehabilitation Center is working to make sure the residents have what they need, and she's grateful that all the residents from the Yates Center are safe.
All the residents to safety. There was no injuries with any of the residents, which is so phenomenal.
Other local nursing homes have also taken in residents who used to be at the Yates Center facility, including in Oswego and other locations in Southeast Kansas. Reporting in Pittsburgh, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
McLeod asked the public to hold off on donations while they go through what they've already received. She says there are future plans for the Yates Center Health and Rehab to be rebuilt. Well, Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us now with a first look at weather.
Well, it turned out to be a much colder day for us today. 80 yesterday, near record highs. Now our official high was 69, but that was at midnight. We started near 60 and plummeted all day long, all the way down to our low right now, sitting at about 35 degrees. Joplin, Pittsburgh sitting at 36. Still fairly strong winds, 15 to 20 sustained. And we're still getting some gusts, which are up there. Even right now, we're still getting those gusts, 35, 40, 45 miles per hour. These will start to come down a little bit as we get into the morning hours. Our gusts will be closer to 20 miles per hour. Mid-30s. It's cold. We got some light rain, some sleet pellets, some light snow. It's still above freezing. It's not going to really amount to anything. It's mainly melting as it comes down, but we'll see these light snow showers and sleet showers over the next couple hours. What is to come? We're going to look at that here in a bit.
All right, thanks, Doug. Well, as we enter severe weather season, homeowners are encouraged to review their insurance policies. KOAM's Lonnie Walton spoke with an expert about what you need to know.
Yeah, we've had several big limbs come down.
Randy Storm is a Joplin resident. He says, like many others, the winds are powerful these days.
Storm has just taken trees, the dust and stuff, and coming around. And we've been fortunate. We haven't had any roof damage yet.
And that's good for Mr. Storm. But our extreme weather conditions have created fire hazards in addition to wind damage for others. Chase Kraft from Kraft Insurance wants to remind homeowners to check their insurance policies and make sure they're covered.
A lot of people believe that their coverages are different than it actually is, or their homes aren't insured for how much they probably should be right now.
And according to Kraft, he says you should check it with a fine-tooth comb.
If there's a hailstorm, you might have a $5,000 deductible. If you just had a fire, you might only have a $1,000 deductible.
And there's more.
You have a 5% deductible and you have a $100,000 house, well, it's a $5,000 deductible regardless of the size of the claim.
Both Kraft and Storm says regardless of the price, home insurance is needed. Well, for the most part.
You can go and buy another one tomorrow. You probably are wasting your money by insuring it.
It's went up. Just this bill went up like $40, but you can't go without it. I mean, there's just too much.
Reporting in Joplin, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
And Kraft goes on to say, although premiums can increase because of certain claims, fire and theft have the least amount of impact on premium renewals. He says wind and hail can increase your rate, but it's not as dramatic and as it's not the customer's fault. Well, today, a low-income energy assistance event at the Pittsburgh Public Library helped those struggling with their winter heating bills. Staff from the Kansas Department for Children and Families provided application assistance. This event offered an opportunity to get help before winter bills stack up.
To help people that need help with their utility bills. They may be behind, they may be cut off, but the money that's put on their bills will go towards that, and it helps them get their utility set back up and running again.
If you need help with your energy bills, we've provided a link to sign up for assistance in this article on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Coming up, COVID 5 years later.
In the last 5 years, we have seen a shift from a 9-to-5 workday in a physical office to working at home. I'm Brooke Taylor in Dallas with more on how COVID has changed what going to work looks like.
And later, a Joplin business owner shares concerns how tariffs on China might impact her business. And now she's reaching out to lawmakers to encourage them to help stop the tariffs. As we continue our special series, COVID 5 years later, tonight we look at business as usual in America, which looks nothing like it did before the pandemic began in 2020. Empty offices created the need for innovation. In-person conversations, phone calls, and emails morphed into widespread virtual work and collaboration. Fox News correspondent Brooke Taylor has more on changes in the American workplace.
There hasn't been any industry that hasn't been touched by the pandemic.
The change is driven by shifts in where we work, how we do our jobs, and employee priorities.
There's more flexibility in today's workplace, whether that means remote or hybrid options.
Once uncommon, remote work has become the norm. When the pandemic struck in 2020, offices quickly adapted to allow employees to work from home, forever altering the American workplace.
I think everyone benefits from in-person work and coming in and collaborating. Decision-making is quicker. Friendships are made. Bonds are formed that are hard to form when everybody's working in their house.
CEO and founder of Vox, Adam Benowitz, is not alone in his belief that in the next 5 years, businesses will return to a pre-pandemic work model. Big companies like Amazon, Google, and Apple are already requiring employees to return to the office.
People are by and large realizing that people need to be together, and we're moving back toward that. I think you're going to see more things like 4-day weeks with a little flex time.
But not everyone agrees. Glassdoor's lead economist Daniel Zhao says remote work is here to stay.
It's just an important reminder that even though there might be some big companies that are making changes, a lot of Americans are employed at small to medium businesses, and there's a lot of experimentation from those smaller and medium-sized businesses where they might get more benefit from being able to hire all the way across the country.
They do agree the future is likely hybrid. In 2021 and 2022, we experienced the Great Resignation. Coming out of that, offices are prioritizing overall well-being, and both employee and employer are prioritizing work-life balance.
There's certainly more awareness now about the power and possibility of flexibility in the workplace. That also means flexibility around hours and allowing workers to pop out of the office early if they need to go pick up their kids.
This is especially beneficial for younger Americans. In 2024, 84% of millennials and 74% of Gen Z said they want more remote work options. Still, some believe working in an office is more valuable.
Those are the generations that need it the most, that are on their way up. They're trying to learn new skills, learn who they are, make new friendships. And I think we are cheating those younger generations if we're not bringing them into the office, and they'll regret it later.
While hybrid schedules offer more perks like no commute, more time at home, and also less stress, companies also benefit. They save money by downsizing on office space. In Dallas, I'm Brooke Taylor, Fox News.
Well, as our special COVID 5 Years Later series continues, tomorrow night we take a look at the impact on travel and tourism. Well, people who use cannabis are more likely to suffer a heart attack. The American College of Cardiology found marijuana users under the age of 50 were 6 times more likely to have heart attacks compared to non-users. But the study's authors point out cannabis users are also more likely to use cocaine or other illegal drugs, which also could be to blame for the increased risk. Back pain is one of the hardest ailments to treat. A new study published in the British Medical Journal found only 1 in 10 common non-surgical, non-invasive treatments for lower back pain actually works. Non-surgical treatments include procedures like acupuncture, spinal manipulation, massage, and opioids. Researchers say with so many options, it's difficult for patients to know what's effective. Well, Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast, and later, a technology overhaul.
The Trump administration makes plans to overhaul the country's air traffic control systems. I'm Mike Emanuel in Washington with a look at the changes coming up.
Well, of course, it turned out to be a much colder day for us today. Super windy. Winds on average were gusting kind of 50 to 60 throughout the day. We did have a couple gusts higher than that, near 70 during the late morning into the early afternoon when we had our strongest winds. Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex, Tower Cam, cameras still moving, roads are wet. We have some light showers, light snow showers kind of pushing through. Look at the 24-hour temperature change, 35 to 40 degrees colder right now compared to what we did see this time last night. We have some light snow working through southwestern Missouri. Again, it's going to be really hard to really amount to anything. It was 80 yesterday. It's still above freezing. The ground is warm. Maybe some patchy white out there as we go through the next couple hours, but this band will continue to work east, a little back band as well. So we have been getting sleet and a little bit of snow kind of mixing in. This is what we're going to see over the next hour, and then after about 11, 12 o'clock, it pretty much rotates right on out of here. The winds will start to come down a bit. We're still getting sustained winds, 15 to 20. If we look at our gust over the past few hours, let's see here, over the past hour or so, kind of in that 30 to 40 mile per hour range. So they have come down just a little bit. I think our gusts will be near 20 by the time you get up tomorrow morning. Here's good news. The wind's near calm tomorrow evening. Bad news, the winds crank back up on Friday. Not as strong as today, but they're still going to be in that 30 to 40 mile per hour range as we get into Friday afternoon. In return, that will help our temperatures warm up. Mid 30s out there right now. You can see the roads are wet. In Joplin, sitting at 36, gust near 40 miles per hour. Look at this big upper level low spinning. We got severe weather through parts of Indiana, pushing into Ohio now. Dry slot or dust slot where all the dust has been. We had the thick dust during the morning hours. The reason the winds have been so strong is this upper level low is so strong. So the lower pressure around it, when you have low pressure, it's trying to equalize out to high pressure. So in return, you get the wonderful winds. This whole mess rolling out of here will break out. We'll see partly sunny skies during the morning. Let's stop at the noon hour, 45, 46 degrees. As we get into the afternoon, high temperature wise, I think most of us 52, 53, 54, 55 degrees in our southern counties. Not as cold tomorrow night. We do get some clouds in here. Southerly winds start to pick up. We'll drop back 39 or 40. As we get into Friday afternoon, a lot of clouds. We have a weak system kind of passing by to our northeast. But look at our temps, 65, 66, 67 degrees. So we rebound back above average for this time of the year. 33 to start, 44 by noon. High temp, 53 as we go into your Thursday, but 66 on Friday, 67 Saturday, 65 on Sunday. We are going to get some morning thunderstorms Sunday. They don't look like they'll be too strong or severe, which is good news. A little bit cooler Monday, and then pretty good temperatures again most of next week.
All right. Well, I mean, it's a lot of changes happening pretty quickly.
Yeah, but overall it looks okay.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Doug. Well, coming up, no change in interest rates.
The Fed puts interest rates on pause as it maintains a wait-and-see approach on Trump's economy. I'm Connor Hansen in New York. I'll have the details coming up.
Join Operation Teeing Off May 19th. Learn more at charlie22outdoors.com.
Hey, first responders.
Fed Chairman Jerome Powell announces interest rates will stay unchanged after cuts late last year. The decision comes as consumers remain unhappy with prices, and the Trump administration works to put its tariff plans in focus. Connor Hansen reports.
In a closely watched update from the Federal Reserve, Chairman Jerome Powell announced interest rates will stay the same.
We think it's a good time for us to wait for further clarity before we consider adjusting our policy stance.
The last cut was in December, leaving rates at 4.25% to 4.5%. But the Fed is sticking to its prediction for 2 cuts by the end of the year.
It's a pretty good economy, but people are unhappy because of the price level. And we completely understand and accept that.
After last year's cuts, some believe the pause is due to uncertainty caused by President Trump's tariff plans, amid fears they could worsen inflation and slow growth.
Uncertainty around the changes and their effects on the economic outlook is high.
But the Trump administration is keeping the faith, claiming any temporary turbulence will lead to future gains.
There's a lot of positive news in the economy right now, and everybody's focused on the potential harm from tariffs. But what I'm seeing is visible gain from the threat of tariffs because everybody's moving their auto production back to the U.S. And there's huge capacity for that to go up.
The administration plans to announce specific plans for reciprocal tariffs on April 2nd. Meanwhile, President Trump met Wednesday with more than a dozen energy executives, the administration touting lower gas prices, which can be a key factor behind inflation. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
One small business in Joplin is bracing for the impacts of the recent tariffs. KOAM's Samantha Walker spoke with the owner, who says she was unprepared for the global issues hitting so close to home.
Augusta Bridal in Joplin is a small business offering a variety of special occasion wear, but the owner says new tariffs in the country are not only drawing concerns for her business, but the entire bridal industry.
I don't think anybody was prepared for it to be so detrimental.
Taylor Augusta Austin says she's been living the American dream for the past 3 years, operating her own bridal shop. But recently, President Trump imposed a 20% total tariff on imports from China, which she says has big impacts for businesses like hers.
I've been so encouraging to my brides and telling them get in sooner rather than later because I don't know, come December, I could be having to pass that tariff on to the customer.
Many industries have spoken on the impacts tariffs on Mexico and Canada could have. Austin says a lot of products for the bridal industry come from China, and tariffs will have a big impact on price.
One of the most expensive items as women we will ever purchase is our wedding gown. 20% on top of that is something crazy.
She says while she can understand the need to do more U.S.-based production, the new tariffs came so quickly they didn't have time to prepare.
There needs to be structure and a plan in place in order for that change to happen. It just can't happen overnight because it's absolutely taking the small business America away.
The U.S. Chamber of Commerce says tariffs are likely to impact not just small businesses, but also customers. In a statement, they say, quote, tariffs imposed by the United States are nothing more than a tax increase on American consumers and businesses. They call this the wrong approach, and that tariffs, quote, threaten to derail our nation's recent economic resurgence. Austin says she, like many business owners, has reached out to Missouri lawmakers to voice their desire for action.
Whether they read it or not, that's up to them, but I know that I'm at least doing my part, calling, sending messages, trying to get the word out and tell people, hey, this is coming, this is going to affect us. Is there any way that you can help?
She says she's not yet heard back from lawmakers, but hopes they've heard her concerns. Reporting in Joplin, I'm Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
And tariffs are just one part of President Trump's America First trade policy. In a statement, the president says his policy promotes investment and productivity, enhances U.S. industrial advantages, and defends economic and national security. Lego builders, get ready to electrify your imagination. Up next, a new partnership that'll make you want to catch them all.
Start the weekend at
Builders and trainers unite. Lego joins forces with the popular Japanese game and media series Pokemon, bringing two major fan bases together for the first time ever. The companies say new Lego kits from the multi-year joint venture will be released starting in 2026, which marks 30 years after Pokemon's creation. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. The FAA makes plans to overhaul the U.S. air traffic control system to replace aging technologies. And the international phone calls continue. President Trump briefs Ukraine on what Russia demands in exchange for an end to the war.
You're watching the 4 States Most Watched News.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. After weeks of scrutiny over air traffic control systems, the Trump administration says it's making plans to overhaul the technology. Fox News Chief Washington correspondent Mike Emanuel has more.
After several scary aviation incidents and a devastating deadly crash, the Federal Aviation Administration announced plans Wednesday to install enhanced safety devices at more than 70 airports to help detect when a runway is occupied. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says changes will also be made in the coming months to speed up the lines of communication and provide new radar systems and terminals for air traffic controllers.
Oftentimes, the controllers' views are impeded. On their screens, they'll be able to see where airplanes are at on the tarmac.
It's part of a new effort by the Trump administration to overhaul the country's aging air traffic control systems after months of scrutiny. Duffy says the problems are known, but the issue is speed.
Technology changes, money changes, administrations change. So we have to do this really fast. And so the Congress has to give us all the money up front.
This week, President Trump nominated Republic Airways CEO Brian Bedford to head the FAA. If confirmed, he will need to make several key decisions, including when to let Boeing expand production of its 737 MAX line of planes. That was restricted by the agency last year after a door plug blew off an Alaska Airlines flight.
We're leveraging the safety management system and the quality management system, so that's why we harden all of the new input that we have put into the production system over the last year plus.
Last month, the FAA announced it's testing the Starlink internet system from Elon Musk's SpaceX to modernize air traffic communications. In Washington, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
Israel steps up its airstrikes in Gaza overnight, and there are growing signs the IDF is preparing for a major ground offensive against Hamas. Officials are once again calling on Palestinian civilians to leave the fighting zones in northern Gaza and head south, claiming Hamas will be responsible for any civilian casualties. The return to fighting raises new concerns about the remaining hostages held in Gaza. A senior Hamas official says the airstrikes amount to, quote, a death sentence for the captives. Well, after his phone call with Russian President Putin yesterday, President Trump briefed Ukrainian President Zelensky on what the Kremlin is demanding in exchange for an end to the war. It's a lot, and a full ceasefire seems far off despite the president's optimism. Rebecca Castor explains.
A moment of celebration in what's otherwise been a devastating 3 long years of war. In one of the largest prisoner exchanges of the conflict, Russia and Ukraine each returned 175 soldiers to their home countries on Wednesday.
We are home, happy in our native Ukraine, on our land.
Russia also released 22 seriously wounded Ukrainian soldiers in what the Kremlin calls an act of goodwill. It comes as the U.S. is trying to mediate an end to the war. After President Trump's phone calls with Putin and Zelensky, both leaders agreed to stop attacks on energy infrastructure.
We have never been this close to peace, and it's only because of President Trump that we are here.
Despite the administration's optimism, Putin still has demands before he'd agree to expand the ceasefire. He's implied all foreign military aid to Ukraine must stop, but the White House says that was not discussed. Zelensky, meanwhile, says he's in favor of an unconditional ceasefire.
Our negotiators are going from one side to the other, and we are driving both sides closer and closer.
Zelensky also asked Trump for more air defense support. The president agreed to help find more missiles, particularly in Europe. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Well, Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast, and later, access to childcare in Pittsburgh, Kansas expands as the Family Resource Center cuts the ribbon on a new facility.
Arts.
Well, of course, much colder outside for us today. The wind's still fairly strong, but they will start to come down as we get through the overnight hours tonight. Still whipping around out there. You can see our Cornell Arts and Entertainment tower cam still kind of moving around. Look at our temperature change. So it's about 35 to 40 degrees colder right now compared to what we had this time last night. We also had some light rain showers mixing with a little bit of sleet, a little bit of light snow, but it's really just kind of too warm for it to really accumulate. But we are getting some batches of light snow out across southwestern parts of Missouri. This is going to continue as we go through the next couple hours, and then just kind of falling apart and working right on out of the region, especially after midnight. Still northwesterly winds 15 to 20. We're also still getting those gusts kind of in that 30 to 40 mile per hour range. By morning, these are going to drop back to near 20. Once we get into the afternoon and into the evening hours, really pretty close to calm. However, they switch out of the south. This is going to be Friday morning, and then we're right back to the gusts, kind of sitting in that 30 to 40 mile per hour range on Friday. But again, it helps us warm up. It's cold. Most of us mid-30s right now. Let's go outside. Here's 7th and range line sitting at 36. Still, we're getting those gusts near 40, but at least visibility is pretty good. Look at the big upper level low spinning northern parts of Missouri. So back east, we've had bands of severe weather now through Ohio into Kentucky and Tennessee. Then you have your dry slot where all the dust is. We had that during the morning hours, but the winds have been so strong because they're wrapping around this big upper level low, and the upper level low has a pretty low area of pressure, so we get the winds to try to balance it out. Clouds stick tonight. We start to see them break up by morning. Plenty of sunshine. By noon, I think most of us will be into the upper 40s. Once we get into the afternoon for high temperatures, most of us 53, 54, 55 degrees. Tomorrow night, cold, but not as cold. We drop back near 40, and then a lot of mid and upper level clouds on Friday. But look at this. Temperatures rebound mid 60s. So here's your day planner. On Thursday, 33 to start, 44 by noon. High temp right around 53 degrees. Those 60s Friday, 60s again on Saturday, but we're going to watch Saturday night showers and thunderstorms. I don't anticipate these being too strong or severe, but we'll most likely have some rumbles of thunder by Sunday morning. 53 tomorrow, 66 Friday, 67 Saturday, 65 on Sunday. A little bit cooler Monday, but still temperatures overall looking pretty good next week.
And we're looking at all those storms coming in this weekend, like after midnight on Saturday, like into Sunday morning?
After dark.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Doug. Well, coming up in sports, Pittsburgh State softball tries to win its 9th game in a row. Plus, a Liberal Bulldog receives all-state honors in basketball. John Dales has those stories and more up next.
It's on sale now for the Odd Couple.
Pittsburgh State softball is back in the top 25. The Gorillas are ranked 25th in the country in the most recent Division II coaches poll, and they're riding an 8-game winning streak, entering a doubleheader in Springfield this afternoon. Windy day in Springfield. Pitt State takes on Drury. Gorillas in some trouble in the first. Bases loaded, and Ava Laurent forces a grounder over towards third. Batter out at first, but a run scores. Laurent then strikes out the next batter, minimizes the damage. Gorillas down 1. We go to the 3rd inning. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Laurent with another strikeout to escape the jam. Now to the 4th. Runner on first, 2 out. Heather Arnett at short makes the play, and Pitt State gets out of trouble once again. Now to the 6th. Gorillas down 2. No hits for them to this point. Kendall Forbes draws a walk, then Heather Arnett gets hit by a pitch. Pitt State with something brewing, and Elena Rushing with the first PSU hit of the day. It's a big one. It's going to tie the game at 2. Caden Trokim then reaches on a fielding error here. So can the Gorillas capitalize? Yes, they can. Amaya Snyder finds the gap. That's a bases clearing double. It puts Pitt State in front 4-2, but that's where the Gorillas' good luck runs out. Drury ties it in the 6th, then walks it off in extras. Final score 5-4. Second game doesn't really go much better for the Gorillas. They lose 9-1, and they end up getting swept in the doubleheader by the Panthers. Pitt State gets held to just 3 hits in this one compared to 8 from Drury. PSU will hope to shake this one off before another couple of doubleheaders. Those are this weekend against Washburn on Saturday, then against Emporia State on Sunday. Switching gears to basketball, Liberal High School senior and NEO signee Taylor Swarns receives All-State honors today. This comes as the Missouri Basketball Coaches Association releases its All-State teams for classes 1 through 3. Swarns helped lead the Lady Bulldogs to a trip to the state Final Four. That was in 2024 as a junior. That year, she was also an All-State honoree. And it's day 2 of the NCAA Division I men's basketball tournament. Over in Dayton, we've got 2 more play-in games tonight before the round of 64 begins tomorrow. First game of the night is between a couple of 16 seeds. Mount St. Mary's takes down American, 83-72, the final score there. Mountaineers won the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference to get to this point. Their season continues at least for another couple of days. They'll face 1 seed and ACC champion Duke in the round of 64 on Friday afternoon. After that game, Xavier faces Texas. They just got out of halftime. Longhorns are in front by 10, 57-47 as we come on the air. Texas is one of 14 teams from the SEC to qualify for the tournament. Winner of this game will go on to play the 6th seed Illinois in the first round on Friday night. Tomorrow is when things really heat up, and right around that 6 o'clock, 6:30 window, I think a lot of people from around here are going to be interested. You have Arkansas taking on Kansas. That game's at 6. And then at 6:30, Mizzou is in the tournament again. They play Drake.
I'm still working on my bracket, but I've got till like 11 a.m. tomorrow.
You do have more time, yeah.
I'll get it.
Good.
You got yours ready?
I do have mine ready.
All right. We're back with more news after this. Good news for those looking for childcare in Pittsburgh as the Family Resource Center adds a new facility. KOAM's Anthony Salviello joins us with more details.
I am standing in the koala room of the newest facility for the Family Resource Center. I spoke with the facility's director about how this new building will help with childcare in the area.
3, 2, 1, cut!
A ribbon cut as access to health care in Pittsburgh expands.
So we'll just deal with everything as it comes. So we're super excited to be able to offer more.
An addition several years in the making.
Excited, super excited. Yes, we've been waiting for this many hours, many days, months, years for the administration and the board. So very super excited. Cannot wait till Monday to get here so we can get those babies and kids and in the doorways.
Despite the addition, there are still things parents should think about when trying to get childcare.
If you're thinking of having a child or you're first pregnant, you need to get on a waiting list somewhere, whether it's a home provider or a center provider, whatever a parent chooses. But it takes sometimes 12 months to be able to get into somewhere because of the way kids go. So they need to think early and plan.
With the new facility's location on the Mercy Hospital campus, there will be a percentage of slots set aside for hospital staff.
They just have a certain amount of slots, so they will have a percentage of slots over here open for them, and then we'll have the rest community slots.
Site Director Jessica Carrier says the Family Resource Center already provides high-quality care for children, and this new facility now provides a way to make that care more accessible.
For families looking for childcare, applications for this facility and the bigger Family Resource Center facility are now open. But for now, I'm Anthony Saviello in Pittsburgh, Kansas, KOAM News.
Well, the new facility is funded by a $1.6 million grant from the state of Kansas, and Crawford County Commissioners also granted a portion of an ARPA funding, totaling more than $288,000. The hit dating show returns tomorrow night on Fox 14. Coming up, we meet the 4 new bachelor farmers and find out why they joined the show, what they're looking for, and more. Season 3 of Fox's Farmer Wants a Wife returns with new host Kimberly Williams Paisley and 4 new bachelor farmers on a quest to find a wife. Fox's Anna Elopoulos caught up with the single farmers to talk about why they joined the show, what they're looking for, and more.
Very handsome, very single farmers.
Fox's Farmer Wants a Wife is back for season 3 with 4 young bachelors ready to find their forever love.
I've been single for a while now. Sister just got married, best friend just had a baby, and it's like, it was my turn now.
I'm 30 now and still single, and we have somewhat of a limited amount of people in our area, so you kind of run out of dating, and this is a cool way to meet somebody.
The conventional dating scene is conventional, so this is a very unusual way to do it.
Just take the risk and just go do it, because it's something that it's got a lot more benefit than it does negatives.
Colton, John, Matt, and Jay will each meet 8 women willing to leave the city life behind. They can only pick the 5 they feel most compatible with to take back to their farms to continue their journey.
I want whoever she is to check all the boxes about, caring about family and having a faith and wanting kids.
Just somebody that's personable, somebody that's loving, somebody that's caring, somebody that's affectionate too.
The farmers admit there are challenges to living on a farm.
Farmers and ranchers, they kind of get the short end of the stick when it comes to the money. They do all the hard work and they get paid the pennies, and that's definitely the biggest struggle. And I want to find a different avenue with the woman that I find to be able to afford the lifestyle that I want.
Being so far from things like a CVS or a grocery store or something like that, where I live now, that's not a problem. But where I want to live in the future, like kind of where my grandparents' farm is, that's going to be pretty tough.
I want a wife.
Anna Eliopoulos, Fox News.
That's our time for tonight. Thank you for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of an armadillo enjoying an insect-filled cake for his 23rd birthday. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.